Hello, I'm Moira Alderson with the BBC News. Rishi Sunak will be appointed by King Charles as Britain's new Prime Minister on Tuesday, after Liz Truss submits her resignation. After becoming leader of the Conservative Party, Mr Sunak warned that Britain faced a profound economic challenge, but promised to serve with humility and integrity. Here's our political correspondent, Ben Wright.
Crowded onto the steps of Tory HQ in Westminster, Conservative MPs gathered to greet their new leader. Mr Sunak will be the UK's first Hindu Prime Minister, the first of Asian heritage, and at 42, the youngest for more than 200 years. Rishi Sunak will enter number 10 at the most turbulent of times, with high inflation, rising interest rates, industrial unrest and war in Ukraine. He will need the Tory party in Parliament on board. Any political honeymoon promises to be brief.
World leaders have been congratulating Mr Sunak. The White House said President Biden looked forward to speaking with him in the coming days. The European Council President, Charles Michel, urged Mr Sunak to work with the EU and spoke of the need for stability. Katia Adler is in Brussels.
Most EU leaders privately breathed a sigh of relief when it became clear that Boris Johnson, viewed in Brussels as an unreliable, divisive figure, wouldn't be returning to number 10. Rishi Sunak may also be a Brexiteer, but EU figures believe him to be a grown-up and a pragmatist. They want to continue working closely with the UK on Ukraine, but they also hope to combat energy prices together, as well as solve the thorny issue of the post-Brexit deal on Northern Ireland, known as the Protocol.
In India, the Prime Minister Narendra Modi said historic ties were being transformed into a modern partnership. The US Attorney General Merrick Garland has accused China of trying to undermine the American justice system as he announced indictments against 13 of its nationals. In one of 3 cases unveiled today, the Department of Justice accused 2 Chinese intelligence agents of attempted bribery and espionage regarding a company thought to be Huawei. Here's the Deputy Attorney General, Lisa Monaco.
According to one indictment unsealed today, 2 intelligence officers attempted, through bribery and espionage, to obstruct the federal criminal prosecution of a global telecommunications company headquartered in the PRC. The defendants attempted to bribe someone they believed was an insider to steal the prosecutor's playbook, including who the prosecutors were meeting with and what they would argue in court.
The other cases involve attempts to steal technology and to harass dissidents. The FBI director said 10 of those charged were Chinese intelligence officers or government officials. World News from the BBC. Ukraine has accused Russia of delaying the arrival of dozens of cargo ships to collect Ukrainian grain. The future of the grain deal, brokered in July by Turkey, looks precarious, as Sasha Schlichter reports.
The Ukrainian Foreign Ministry said Russian inspectors were deliberately prolonging the inspection of ships heading from Turkey, resulting in 165 vessels being stuck in a queue near the Bosporus Strait. The grain deal requires meticulous inspections, but Kiev says some of the checks are politically motivated and have prevented it from exporting 3 million tons of grain. It's called on African and Asian countries which rely on Ukrainian grain to lean on Russia. But Moscow alleges half of the exports end up in the EU anyway, and is trying to link next month's extension of the deal to the lifting of some sanctions.
Ukraine's Foreign Minister Dmytro Kuleba has invited the UN nuclear watchdog to visit 2 Ukrainian nuclear sites in the coming days. The invitation follows Russian suggestions that Ukraine could be developing a so-called dirty bomb, a conventional bomb laced with radioactive, biological or chemical material at these places. Ukraine has vigorously denied the allegations. Mr Kuleba has insisted Ukraine has nothing to hide. Nigeria's Economic and Financial Crimes Commission says a federal high court has ordered the final seizure of properties owned by former Petroleum Resources Minister Diezani Alison Madueke. The assets being seized include houses and cars worth $3 million. It's the latest court ruling related to corruption allegations against her, charges she denies. Opening arguments have begun in the latest sexual assault trial of the disgraced former Hollywood producer Harvey Weinstein. He faces 11 charges of attacking women in Beverly Hills and LA hotels over a 10-year period to 2013. He's pleaded not guilty. 5 alleged victims are expected to take the stand. BBC News.